Screen.
You don't see me?
No, I don't see where I am. Oh, I see. I'm saying hi to myself. The tism.
I'm crazy excited to talk to you. Can we just start with the basic, introduce yourself? Who am I speaking with?
I am Juliet Diaz. I'm an award-winning international best-selling author of multiple works. I'm a literary activist, and it's really important for me to identify as Indigenous. So, hello, how are you?
Tell me about literary activism.
Well, I've done activism, organizing, mobilizing for years. It's been part of, life. But since 2023, with my activism and being involved with the Palestinian movement, there was so much going on, right? There's so many things that I was trying to fight for and resist and organize for that it just ended up exhausting me. I just came to a place that I had to decide, what am I able to truly sustain in my life without, driving myself to the hospital over and over. So I have chronic illness. So that's something that I have to, remember. I'm 44. I'm not, like in my younger days, I was able to be out there all the time. So literary activism became my focus point, because if I looked at my work throughout the years, and what really moved me was the power to allow people to speak their truth and tell their stories. Ancestrally, writing and these books and our stories come from our ancestors, right? It's storytelling is ancestral. It's from the beginning of time. It's how we share our medicine and what's important in our culture, then pass it down, right? Yeah. So literary activism to me today looks like making room for more voices that are being sidelined to have space and to speak up, especially right now that books are being banned left and right. My book, before it even came out, the new one, I already have New Jersey trying to ban it. So this is, I live in New Jersey. So it's okay. I have history with fighting against book bans, so I'm not too worried about taking that process or journey. So for me and the rest of my life, I just want to make sure that the truth is out there, that the people in generations to come know that we did resist. Let them know how we truly felt. Let them know that we fought, because you know how it plays out, right? Even with Taino, like our stories were rewritten. It was a genocide through written word as well. So it's kind of what they do. It's the playbook, is erasing our voices, our experiences, and I want that to keep going.
Why are so many questions? Why is your book a threat?
Okay, so The Altar Within, this is the second edition. The first edition did really well, but because it came out before the live stream of Palestine. And I'm always going to root back, because what that moment in time when we saw the live stream changed me forever. As a person, a human, an activist, being more mindful and intentional about the work. And I feel like this mission and responsibility that we have on this earth and for our communities. So when I rewrote this book and I redid it, I took into account how therapists were using it, how people in the healing space were using it. And I took into account current events and the unlearning and the unveiling of everything that we're going through. So it's a book that's the groundwork for inner liberation and collective liberation. I'm merging both worlds together. There's nothing new when you separate it, right? We've always had our legends teach us about self-love and the importance of rest, especially through revolutionary times, through movements, when there's hardships, right? And community care. All of that has always been out there. And then you have the collective of, making sure that you're supporting one another, being out there, doing the activism, showing up. And what was missing was that we weren't, because I belong to both spaces, like we need both together. We can't have activists just going out there and not having a lifestyle that sustains the energy and the overwhelm that goes into that kind of life? Where's the self-care? Where's the decolonial wellness in this? Where is the mindfulness that we have to take care of ourselves too? That's part of resistance. That's part of us fighting back, right? We need to keep ourselves healthy and so we can sustain this. And then you have the part where in spirituality and wellness, where everything was very much like individual, solitude, light and love, stay positive all the time, or as much as possible. Don't get involved with activism because that brings down your energy, It was just like there's a lot of missing spaces in those both worlds. And I believe because of the voices that I've listened throughout the years, in my communities with the elders especially, we need to have both. We need to merge spirituality, we need to merge the physical, and we need to merge the self and community. There's no way that we're going to get through this or sustain this fight if we don't do that. So
how do we merge?
We just practice them both. We don't spiritually bypass. We don't bypass reality. We start paying attention to our emotions, what they really mean, how they impact us, and also what's going out in the real world. How are we going to show up? And how are we able to sustain that in our personal lives? For me, it's more finding your rhythm in your life right now where you can try to live your best life, be in community, take care of yourself, and show up for others. It's just bringing it all together, right? It's reciprocity. Like in braiding sweetgrass there's a big message about how nature works together and how we should be in relation with nature. So that's what I bring into this book, is being in good relation with yourself and with others.
Being in good nature with yourself. Does that mean, is it loving oneself? Is it being kind to oneself? Is it all of the above? Like, how do we be in good reciprocity with ourselves? Or if someone is like, am I in good reciprocity with myself?
Yeah.
How do they ask that question or see the symptoms?
Yeah, well, it's more of the relationship that you have with yourself. You have to really sit with yourself and ask these hard questions. Like, what kind of relationship do I have with myself? Do I trust myself? Do I forgive myself? Do I understand myself? I am late diagnosed autistic and ADHD. So my journey this year has been in building that deeper relationship with myself to understand how I function, how my mind works, how my body and my nervous system work. So when I say be in good relation with yourself, it doesn't mean that you have to love yourself. Loving yourself is one of the most difficult things, right, in life, especially if you come from experiences that have kept you from fully loving and embracing yourself. It's something hard to do. We can't just expect to love ourselves or to be always in perfect relationship with ourselves. The relationship that I speak about is building some relationship where you get to a point that you start to trust yourself. You get to a point where you start to understand yourself, so that when you do go through hardships, you understand how you're going to implement tools to nourish yourself, to sustain yourself through that, right? Oftentimes we look outside ourselves for healing, for understanding, and what's missing is that we need to really do the hard work and just sit with ourselves and like, who's this person inside me? Who are you really? Let's get to know each other. So it's more of having a conversation and a relationship with the self like you would any other person.
I once called you because I was in a funk, man. I felt like I was in a funk and I needed a limpia or a cleanse. And you gave me this whole recipe to take a bath with certain herbs, and there was even orange peel, and then to take the bath and then stay there as the water drained out. Can you tell me about spells, limpias, just that world, how we find our own, how we create our own? Yeah.
So for me, my spirituality, again, and with indigenous communities, a lot of us work with nature. We work with the elements. We work with herbs and plantas, and most especially spirit and the spirit of things, right? Our plants have spirits, they're alive. Our elements have spirits, they're alive. So when I offer limpias, when I offer cleansings, and I do that for myself regularly, what you're doing is, again, that's a form of relationship with yourself. You're cleansing your energy. You're cleansing and ridding yourself of things that do not belong to you. We forget that we are energetic beings. Right now, our energies are intercepting together. They're dancing together, right? So when we get off this call, I'm very aware of how my body feels different, or if it feels a little off. And usually that informs me that it doesn't, belong on me. Maybe you have a headache, right? And it can transfer over, especially if you're someone that's really intuitive and energetically in tune. You can catch on to a lot of energy from other people. Walking outside, driving in traffic, all that energy from everyone is just swarming around you. And we forget that that's exhausting. It exhausts us. So going home and doing a cleaning on yourself like that, with if it's a baño, or if it's standing in the rain, if it's jumping in a river or under a waterfall, or if your hands are in the soil, feet on the grass, this is all ways of us just cleaning ourselves off of what is not belonging to our energetic field. And that often does help everything else with our well-being. It's all intercepts, it's all together.
Someone wants to train their sensitivity to energy, right? Like let's say they're like, I think I agree with you. A whole city can impact your energy.
Yes.
I think that's why your home is so important, or where you live, or your rituals. Like, I believe in all of this because it's for me, it's solitude. Like, that's the ultimate cleanse, is like, go be alone.
And then everything happening in the world right now.
Oh man.
If you pay attention to the community, just people in everyday life, it's not the same. People are not walking the same. They're not, standing up the same. Their laughter seems a little off. Like, if you're really seeing through what we usually see through the facade of what the human body is, and look into the spirit, we're not all okay. We're trying to get by. We're trying to do what we need to do, right? Because that's how the system is built, that we have to keep going. We have to pay our bills. Life has to keep going on. But at the same time, we're just like, our hearts and our humanity, right? Our spirit is just like, something's not right. And then there's like this low, heavy energy on everyone right now. And part of the practice of being in good relationship with yourself is we have to actively do more to keep ourselves away from that energy, to sustain the energy that we have, so that we can continue to move forward and do the work while also trying to do life, which is incredibly difficult.
And so if someone wants to train this awareness, they know that maybe they're a little sensitive, or 1 second I was feeling good and the next second I'm feeling, kind of wild. How do we train that sensitivity? What are some practices that allow us to really build that altar within, or even know there's an altar within?
Right.
Yeah.
So for instance, in my book, what I speak about often is introspection. And it's just it's like the simplest thing, right, that someone can say, but that's truly what it is. It's really what it is. Meditation, what does that help you do? Go inside, right? Active meditation, gardening, walking, running, hiking, all those things are active meditation. What does that help you do? Introspection. It's all really what it is. It's sitting with yourself and asking yourself the difficult questions, and looking within yourself and actually seeing what's in this universe. There's an inner universe. And when you start practicing presence, for instance, slowing down, being mindful and intentional of what you're doing, even if you're at work typing. I just shared something recently with my community to set 3 alarms throughout the day. This was inspired by the Muslim community, which I've been very active with in the past years. And just watching them in prayer is just the most beautiful thing. To pause throughout your day and stop and create presence and have spirit with you. It's so powerful. So my inspiration for that was just to simply set your alarms 3 times a day. And when that happens, pause, take deep breaths, and, scan your body. Where are you? Are there any aches, any pains? What are you going through emotionally? What's on your mind? And be present with that. And that's how you kind of bring yourself back to yourself a few times a day, because we're constantly going that we just forget to check in on ourselves. We're constantly just doing things. So these check-ins are a way to do that, you know, for you to pause. Implement more things that slow you down throughout your day, making tea, cooking, right? If that's something that you're able to do, of course. So just implementing more pause and presence is how I would advise someone to, you know, train that for yourself.
Yeah, it reminds me of Thich Nhat Hanh and Plum Village. And when you go to a retreat there, when you hang out there, every 15 minutes a bell rings. No matter what you're doing, you stop eating, you're playing violin, you're walking, you're talking, you stop, you take a breath, you like experience the actual moment, and then you can return every 15 minutes.
That's a little aggressive, but I love it. I think just to start, if you have the time, say you have a day off, why not set those alarms? Why not set those reminders? You have the day off, you have the time. Just because right now a lot of us are exhausted. A lot of people are just like, I don't know what else to do. Nothing's really working. I don't feel like reading self-help books right now. It's like it's a trend with a lot of people, and I understand it, and I'm with it. I just want to remind everyone, you already have all the tools you need. There's nothing else. There's nothing more to learn about how to take care of ourselves and the lessons and teachings that are already out there. And we've read most of all the books, right? If you're like me, I've read all the books. I mean, I've written them and I've read them. I take advice and I look into history, but it's just like we forget that we have all the tools that we need already for us to be okay, for us to come back into ourselves, into our inner world. The things that are outside of ourselves, unfortunately, with the way that the systems work and how, you know, life is, it forces us outward. So the trick is just come back inward more often. And yeah, I really love that. I'll probably do that one day if I can, every 15 minutes. That's wild.
The trick, but it really is a fight, because the forces that be, whether they be capitalism, imperialism, you know, all these things, these isms we say, they are not designed for us to stop. Like the machine breaks if we stop investing in the machine.
Yeah.
And I think that terrifies people in a way.
Yeah.
Because they don't realize how tethered to the machine they are.
Yes.
Like, it is very Matrix-y in that sense.
It really 100. I'm not scared to use these words anymore. Twilight Zone. It's the Matrix. It really is, right? Because the system's always been there. All of this has been here. It's been here for generations, right? They've just gotten smarter in how to like not have us notice. And here we are thinking, you know, other people are brainwashed. We're all brainwashed. If you grew up in the United States and went through the school system, we are in one way or the other, you know, in the system. And for us to unlearn and detach from the system, the talk around dismantling, that's something that's going to happen slowly. It can't happen overnight. There's no way. This machine's been going for a really long time. And it takes us to dismantle the oppressor within ourselves in order for us to see what's happening outside of ourselves. So that way we can still come into community, envision a new future for ourselves, rebuild, but also tear down the system. Like divesting, for instance, that could work. But and it works for all other countries. How many times we see them come all together and come into the streets in revolution and community together, and they stop the nonsense right away. Why can't we do that here? That's been a question for like the past 2 years that I've repeated over and over and over. But it's because we're scared. Everyone's scared. There's so much messaging around scarcity in this country that we believe it. The earth, just for instance, let me just give you an example. I started gardening when I moved out to the mountains 4 years ago. This year alone, my small space in my garden, I can feed the small community here. It's just, and it's just like there's so many people living around here with so much land, and there's nothing on their land but grass. Like there's no scarcity. It's an illusion. It was made that way for us to believe that, right? Because they took it away, and they didn't teach us how to like implement our connection with the earth. There's no such thing as scarcity. There is truly power in community, in numbers. And I really believe that the more that we inform, if we keep going and we don't stop, we keep informing, having conversations with each other, going out into the communities and sharing information, that is going to change everything. Keep reading the freaking books, especially the banned books, right? Mm-hmm. Read them all, because this is things that are opening our perspectives, are opening our minds up, and it's changing us little by little. It's radicalizing people little by little. And it's going to happen. I truly believe we're going to make the shift, but it's just going to take a little bit longer than what people wanted to.
This energy of ancestors and spirits, is it already in us? Like, is the way we get closer to that through introspection?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, 100%. I'm not that kind of bruja or person in the spiritual space that will be like, oh, you need this and esto, lo otro. That's bullshit. Tools amplify connection, yes, right? And tools also help you utilize energy for different things, like readings, right? Pero your ancestors, you are your ancestors. It's just we really need to think about that. Our skin, our features, our blood, our bones, we come from our ancestry, and that is passed down through us. Just like the seasons continue in a cycle, right? Death and rebirth. For me, and even with reincarnation, I kind of think of like all of the generations that come, all through the future, all through the past. We're all connected. We're the same, right? We all share a thread together. So in my spirituality, we believe that our ancestors are within us. They are our guidance. Their wisdom lives in our bones. Their memories, their skills, their gifts in through our blood. And there's no way to be disconnected from that, because that's where we belong. Just like we can't say we're separate from the earth. We belong with the earth. We are the earth. The same thing with the universe. We literally have stardust, right? We hear this all the time, but it's like, how do you understand it at a deeper level? It's like, you literally are the magic. You literally are the ancestor, and we're channels, vessels working for them. They're working through us. That's the better way of saying it. They're always working through us.
If we let them.
Yes, if we let them. I mean, for me, they'll drag my ass. Like, that's why I'm just like, I need to get this right. I need to like recover and really reassess my entire life. I've simplified my life so much. I'm not on social media, by the way, anymore. I deleted all of them. Risky, according to a lot of people, because I had so many followers, and I agree a little bit, but I've been fine. Cool. You have to trust spirit. You have to trust what's good for you. What
was the social media draining you? I mean, I understand it drains me. It drains so many people I know, and they are so addicted. And I know people listening to this will understand it. Like, damn, I keep going back to the thing that harms me.
It's literally because it's addictive. There's FOMO, right? Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah.
That's the world that we've known for so long. If you're like, I'm 44, I was born in 81. I went through all of social medias. AOL, remember AOL? So we're kind of been addicted to having some kind of social interaction online, and then having something new show up and shining in our faces, and we learn it and we build community there. Then it keeps changing all the way till Instagram. And Instagram is the one that lasted probably the most longest, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. But we're addicted. We're addicted to it. And it's not good for us. For me personally, I understand that there's people who have communities that are still working for them on there, and maybe they have a good relationship with their social media. But there are people who really do want to leave, and I've inspired a lot of people to leave because I've done it. I always advise, if you can, just leave. It was draining my creativity. I'm not a content creator. That's another thing. That there's different things I had to ask myself. Why the fuck am I on there? Like, why am I truly on social media? Is it nourishing me? It wasn't. There's no way that's going to nourish me. It was very problematic. There was a lot of censoring going on for me, especially I couldn't even speak about what I wanted to speak on and share what I wanted to share. So why am I on that platform? What really did it for me was that Meta stole all my books, by the way, to train their AI system. So I'm part of the class lawsuit. And I'm not going to support people who steal works from artists and write. Like, that's it goes against my values. It just did it for me. It's like, there's no way I'm going to keep having them make money off my presence on there when they're harming so many people. I landed on Substack. That's probably like, I love it there.
And if it's free, you're the product, right? That's what they say.
You're the product.
I love that.
Product, you're the engine. You're the one that feeds it. You're the one that makes them the money.
Literally, you're the battery in the, you make the machine work.
Yeah. If we all decided together collectively that we would just stop using Instagram, don't use it for a week, they're going to get the message. We need to remember that these things are supposed to work for us. We're not working for them. It's not free labor. And then on top of that, the amount of times we have to post just to be seen by people who actually follow you, stop. But yes to me.
Amen. And I want to tell people listening who I know go back and forth in this dance. Should I? Shouldn't I? I got to bounce, but I got to stay. But it's my calling card. It's people who are addicted come up with reasons to continue with their addiction all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's like addiction 101. You come up with excuses to keep feeding the addiction, to keep going back to the abuser.
Yeah, something that helped me was replacing the feeling of wanting to reach for my phone. I purchased a light phone 3. I had a flip phone this summer at one point. I just tried everything to get off of my phone without the apps, but it was so addictive. My iPhone right now has no apps on it. So I still reach for it. And it's been I stopped, I think, early in May, and I'll still reach for my phone. I'm like, damn it. So what I've been doing, every time I feel the urge to reach for my phone, I take deep breaths. I pause, take 3 deep breaths, or I get my butt up and I walk straight outside my door. I look around, look at the trees. I come back inside. So I kind of do things to redirect my attention to something else. Hydrating has been really helpful. I don't know why that's a thing for me, but even just going to drink water releases me from that stress. Something that
connects you to the earth again, like something
true,
miraculous.
Get up and do a little dance, shake your arms, just move yourself around, because a lot of times when you are trying to reach for your social media, it's that dopamine, right, that you're looking for, or it's something that your brain is wanting a distraction. Maybe you're not fully present in the moment of what you're doing when that urge is coming. So do things that are going to fully root you in that moment. And it can be simple things, like I said, like maybe just drinking a glass of water, getting up and shaking it off and things like that. And keep your phone away from you. Like I just don't want it most of the time.
I lead this weekly Dharma group, and one of the members said something so, it shook me, still shakes me. And they said, I can't stop thinking about all the things I cling to just to remind myself that I'm worthy.
Wow. Say that again.
I can't stop thinking about all the things I cling to just to remind myself I'm worthy. And this action of going for the phone, please tell me I have a notification. Please tell me I'm worthy. Please tell me I was texted. Please tell me I was emailed. Please tell me someone liked something. Please give me something that reminds me I'm alive.
Right.
I'm worthy of this life. I really believe it comes down to this super, super basic level. Like, please tell me I'm worthy. I was going through an old electronics box, and there was this old iPhone in there. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to throw this out. I'm getting rid of a bunch of stuff. And I was like, I'm not going to throw this out because this would be great for auditions. Like, it's cool. Like, my phone is pink, so it can be a little distracting in auditions. Like, this one's like clean. And it's dead. It's been dead for years. It's not it's in my pocket. And later in the day, I'm doing a bunch of cleanup in the garage. Later in the day, I go in my pocket and I check the dead phone.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, this is what's been conditioned in us.
Yes.
This is just yesterday. Like, this is how we have been conditioned. If there is a device on you, you must check it.
Yep. I don't wear watches. I haven't worn watches in 30 years. Because I used to be addicted to checking my watch all the time. And I remember the moment I stopped was I was out with some girlfriends, And I would, I guess, not paying attention. I would check my watch, and one of my girlfriends was like, "Are you in a rush? Is there something?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, I had no idea. It's just whatever we have on us does impact the way that we respond to these devices. It's like programming. We're so used to it for so many years that, you know, it's just a natural thing that we do. But just like the books that tell you, or the practices that tell you that you can rewire and retrain your brain, that's kind of what we're doing when we're unplugging from social media. It's not going to be simple for everyone. We have to implement practices that are going to help us create a new path for ourselves, rewire our brain not to want to reach for it. So the shame around that, it's something that we need to learn how to have more grace and no shame around, to have more compassion, because this is just a way of life that we've been used to. And unlearning is not something that's simple. It's going to take a little bit of time, but don't give up on it.
So this has come up a few times. Time. It takes time. The dismantling takes time. Your activism, you're like, it takes time and energy. And so I choose this, so it protects me. This relationship between time and maybe peaceful life. Like, is there anything about time that, or is that just it? Like, things take time. So enjoy what you got.
It's more that we're accustomed to getting like instant gratification. Like, for instance, reaching for a phone and social media, where we've been kind of used to things happening at a faster pace. When we were younger, there was commercials. We had to wait for something, you know, for our show to go back on TV. Now you can access shows without commercials. You're binge watching shows one after the other, right? We're so used to that fast turnaround. And in activism, what I've noticed is that a lot of the movements, they die down fast. And the reason why they die down fast is because so many people think that if they all come together and they do it for a little time, that it's going to make a big impact. And then the movements die down, and they never really do very much of what it is that we wanted to create change in the first place. So there's this wiring in our brains that we expect change really fast, that we expect things to happen overnight. And this works in the witchcraft community too, you know, spells. Can you give me a spell to make this happen right away? And if you've ever worked with me, you know, I'll tell you that's not how that works. You need to implement the energy, start the seed, put it out there in the universe, and then do the freaking work that it takes for you to get there. It's coexisting with magic. It's coexisting with life. So time, if you really think about it, it's man-made, right? So if you want to go deeper, pay attention to the seasons. There's a season for everything. And that is true for our individual selves. We go through seasons. I like to align my life as much as possible to the seasons, because it helps me recover, reset, helps with introspection. It helps me learn when I'm most creative. For instance, in the summer, winter, I'm gone in the cave. Don't even try to reach me. I'm resting for like a bear. No creating, no writing, just so I can give myself the space to heal and give myself space for introspection. So the same thing with time and just expecting things is, we need to remember that slower is better. Slow gives us time to be present with what's happening. And it also gives us time to learn lessons along the way. None of us are expert as what's happening here. None of us know what next steps to take. We're all trying to figure this out together, right? Where do we go from here? How do we resist the government? How do we resist these law changes? How do we continue to try and amplify what's happening in other places? We need to remember that it's going to take time. And that's just the natural rhythm of life. And if we try to force it, we're going to miss important lessons and things along the way. And that's why we tend to repeat history. We don't slow down enough to see what it's truly needed for us to create the change that we want. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. There's this theory that has been proven. It works every time. And it's called the 3.5% rule, how a small minority can change the world, can create a revolution. The trick is that you only need 3.5% of a population to consistently, keyword consistently,
right,
be in protest.
Yes.
If 3.5% are consistently in protest or some sort of activism, then I mean every dictatorship, every sort of revolution has worked in this
Right.
way.
Mhm.
The key is the consistency.
The
Like
consistency, yes.
it's not one day showing up. It's not 2 days. It's not 3. It's like we just got to stay here. This becomes the practice. It becomes the thing itself.
Yep. And that I talk about that in the book. Interesting enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the system you mentioned, but the keeping it consistent, keep showing up. And I also implement the seasons in this perspective. Is you can be active in showing up in different ways in different seasons of your life, right? So for instance, my rest season was the whole beginning of this year because the last 2 years was fire for me. It was just on and on and on. And I needed to recover. So during my rest period, I had to kind of understand what I could do during that time to still feel like I was still being part of the resistance, being in activism, being active. So during that time, I just kept informing. I wrote more. I finished the book. Like I did things that were still considered resistance that didn't exhaust me or pull too much out of me. And then this is what I try to teach people in the book is that we can continue this for a long, long time. It can become a lifestyle if we learn how to implement it in a way that sustains us, that doesn't drown us out. And also, if the more that we're in community, the more that the more that we'll understand when it is that we need to lean on the community and when it is that we need to support the community, right? Again, we're coming back to reciprocity. It's kind of like, okay, it's your go and I rest. And then when you rest, I go. So we need to find that rhythm for ourselves.
This is such medicine. Thank you. Let's start to wrap it up by just telling me what is bruja, witch culture? Why take that moniker, or was it given to you? Yeah.
So I'm bruja. Like the witch came when I went to publishing, right? The only way to inform what a bruja is in the literary world, in like the English language, is translating it into English, right? So witch became like something that identified me for a really long time. But then slowly I started reclaiming it and just being like, I'm bruja, I'm indigenous. I'm actually a bohique, which is an indigenous healer for my tribe. So for me, being a bruja is a lot different than what it would be in English, in that culture, in those practices, when you call someone a witch. And I'm okay with the word witch, it's fine. It's just that it's very different for us because we're called for this. Where this is given to us. The community chooses this, right? So I was chosen not just by my ancestors as the Bejique, by my community as a bruja. The person, it just started happening. People start coming to you in your community for advice. You know when that responsibility is within you because you just attract the people who need that support. And it's been true to me for my entire life. You know, people coming to me for advice, for limpias, trusting me with their stories and their experiences, ¿sabes?
Yeah.
Even like in grocery stores and line, it's just random. It's just always been that. Wow. So it's just that I've noticed. And then of course the community elders, my grandmothers, my aunts, where I grew up in the projects and the PJs, we had like the Boricua elders there doing the readings and the limpias. All of them had always told me since I was little that I had the gift of being that person for the community, la bruja. And I remember they would talk to my mom about it a lot, but I digest, I said.
Yeah, digest it. You do. You got to digest it. You did.
So it was chosen for me. And the way that we approach magic and spirituality is a little different. Not a little, but it's a lot more different than what witchcraft practices would approach it like. This is more like ancestral, more cultural practices, and more relational to our like ancestry.
Cool. Yeah. Amen. I'm glad you digested the call.
I
Really,
know. I had
right?
to.
There's my prayer lately has been, you know, uh to me, I make a lot of my prayers to the Buddha specifically, and I say, Lord Buddha, like, may I have the things needed in order to be a liberating force. But then the second part of that is, may I be able to receive them. You
Mhm.
know, Lord Buddha says you have them, but then I need to digest them. I need to receive them.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
may I be able to see them, hear them, actually use what you've already given me,
Yes.
um, to
I
be
think
this liberating force. Yeah.
that was meant to be said. Those words were meant to be said because I think it's a realization. That's the thing, right? When you are forced into deep introspection, when the world is this heavy and scary, you start to really question everything, and even more than you ever have at a deeper level, and questioning things about yourself. So it's just like, we know we have the tools, we know we understand what we need to do. What's stopping us from moving forward and implementing them into our lives? And it's, you really need to digest that information. You need to understand that it's within you, and the only thing standing in our ways is ourselves. So for instance, my health was really bad. It's so bad, and I'm like, okay, it's because of my autoimmune, that I can't get myself started, that I can't keep consistent, right? I always made up excuses for me not to be consistent when it came to my health. And it's really odd because I put everybody's health first, and
Mhm.
their wellness and their care. And not that I was treating myself bad, and absolutely not. It's just that I know I can do better. I knew I can nourish and care for myself a lot better. It was always in there, that feeling. And it wasn't until just recently that it just kind of like, I digested that. It's like, the only thing that's keeping me from really truly taking care and loving up on myself the way I should be is myself.
Mm.
And I've just made that shift. It just kind of like connected. But those words are really powerful. I think that words for me, the reason why I write is because of moments like this. It can help someone shift and grab that clarity. And that's sometimes that's all it takes. And that's why it's so important to be in community during these times, because we can be in a void, in a deep void within ourselves, with everything that's happening, the uncertainty, the fear, the worry. But when we're in community, the words, the energy, their medicine, the communication, the conversations, just being present with others, it just really helps us kind of like readjust our perspectives.
Words are spells in your mouth.
Yes, they are.
Right? You speak in order to change something. What words are you speaking? What spells are you casting?
Yes. Like, be intentional. I want to be more intentional. I want to speak less about things that don't matter, and speak more
Mm. Amen.
honest truth,
Yeah.
because I'm not just giving it out, like you said, receiving. That part stuck with me. I need to learn how to receive more. If I don't learn how to receive, then am I actually giving
Yeah.
fully? Am I?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
really think about it. If you're not receiving and filling yourself, what are you giving? You're constantly half empty. It's like survival mode over and over and over. Spiritually, we can be in survival mode, and that's how I feel a lot of us are. So fill your cup, and you'll be able to give more. You receive, and then you'll be able to give more. It's just like this beautiful flow, almost like the seasons, maybe, right?
Flow is. I was thinking about generosity, and that one of the ultimate ways to be generous is in the Dharma. They say generosity is the very first perfection.
Mm,
It's the very first, but that the ultimate form of generosity is one that lets go generously. So
wow.
it receives generously and it lets go generously. And so everything just sort of passes through you and out of you. It's just like this constant flow.
Beautiful. Yes. I feel that. I feel that in those words. That's really beautiful. Send me, where do I find that? I
I'll
never
send it.
I've
I'll
never
send it
looked
to you.
Yeah, I've never looked into Buddhism like as a practice. I respect it, and I think it's so beautiful. And I know so many people who do. And it's always these amazing, like, these words. The teachings just make sense. Maybe I should start reading some.
I mean, you're already, the thing I often say is everyone's a everyone's a Buddhist in drag, like, because the tenets are really like, would you like to suffer less? Would you like other people to suffer less? Then
Yeah.
like you're already practicing, you know?
No, that makes sense.
Like that's it. But it is something that has been a real medicine in my life, and every day I every day of my life I want more of that and less of other things.
Yeah. Yes. And that's
And
what,
that scares me a little.
yeah, it's, you know why? Because you're getting closer to your power, dude.
Yeah.
That's why you're getting closer to your power. And that's what I feel for myself. Because that shift, that when I say I was radicalized, that was happening in Palestine, that's what it was. It was like, wow, like I have the potential to really show up, to do more, right, than what I was doing. I kind of was half asleep before this, and I didn't even realize it. But when you get closer to your truth and to your that inner power, your potential, when you start to understand how it works, and then manifestation just flows. It just flows because you understand how your mechanisms and your body and your spirit work together, right? That's really what it's all about. It's finding that space within you that really clicks everything into place for you. And we have to like just walk through it. And I know it's like so easy to say, I haven't walked through it yet. I'm like, but I know I'm right there. It's like this feeling, like this pull, like you understand that it's there, like you just have to cross it. But again, give it time. It's going to happen. It really is. Because sometimes it's not us. Sometimes it's not us. Sometimes we've done what we need to do to get to here, and we're ready. Because I'm ready. I'm sure you're ready. I know you are. But then we're probably waiting for something else to either activate or embed that or really give that understanding to ourselves. I hope I don't sound like a weirdo, but for me, it makes sense.
No, it's the best. It's the best. It's not.
You know, channeling when you get messages, and then that's kind of how I feel. I feel like there's going to be something, that a wave that will rush through us that will finally give us that last step through the veil that needs to happen. It's going to happen.
I am so with you. You know, my mantra has been, I know I have the power to love everybody.
Yes. Revolutionary love is the first thing that opens up my book. And that was hard for me actually to write, because there's so many opinions and perspectives around that. Like, who are we talking about when you're saying loving everyone?
Everyone.
Who are you talking about? Are you talking about also, you know, the oppressor, that, or, you know, everyone? So it's kind of like I had to like really sit and process that part of the book and how I was going to explain it, because we absolutely do not need to be in community with people who harm us. But there's a different way of understanding love that we have yet to comprehend. A lot of us, we think that it's that partnership love, a love that, you know, that's give and take. There's also this love that's energetic and understanding that there's faults in all of us, and that there's room for growth in all of us, and that every single one of us have lived through a different experience to make us who we are today. And even if I live out in the mountains of New Jersey, there's a lot of Republicans out this way. So I've, you know, in the past 2 years, I've made it a thing to like try to have these conversations with them. I remember being in a diner, and there was a whole two groups. There was one group, two tables, most of them wearing MAGA hats. And and you hear them talking about Trump, and you hear them talking about ICE, and you hear them talk. And I'm like, go talk to them. Something in me was like, go talk to them. And then the little side of me was like, bitch, are you crazy? What are you doing? You're not going to go over there. That's not a safe place. But I did. I got up and I just stood there. I didn't know what to say. I looked like a creepo standing by their tables and just looking at them. And they're like, just looked at me. I'm like, hi, can I be in conversation with you? And it was just the weirdest thing. They're like, sure. They pulled out the table, and I'm sitting there, and I kind of had the conversation. It was, you know, the things that you're talking about are things that would harm me. But you allowed me to sit at your table. I'm confused. And then there was nobody talking. They were shuffling. I'm like, no, for real, let's have a conversation about this. I really want to know and understand why you just welcomed me to your table, but then your language says that you dislike me. People like me. So we started having conversation around that. And let me tell you that most of the time I've had these conversations, it had nothing to do with them not liking me or people like me. It was more about fear, uncertainty about their own lives, How am I going to pay for my family's food on the table? I'm going to lose my job. I can't afford healthcare. And I'm like, guess what, buddy? The same shit for us. It's the same thing. Like, we understand that we're not all the same. We all have different privilege and there's different, things that separate us. But at the root of it, we all want what? Love, safety, community, but feeling like we belong and feeling like we can be of service. The government knows how to strip all of that shit from us, and that's what it's done throughout the generations. It keeps stripping that away from us, and it keeps putting us in places that we have to determine on them. Like, we need to grab everything that we need comes from them, and that's how they do it. So that when they take it away from us, we have no option but to keep conforming, to keep standing in line, so that we receive the things that they're giving us. Right? There's this illusion of things that they're giving us that we need. We don't need any of the things that they give us. We don't. We can take that power into our own hands and create that for ourselves. And that's where time is going to allow for us to have these conversations and realize that deep down, we all really want this and safety. We all want to feel safe. And that's real. That's real talk. And if you've been doing this work for a real long time, and then that's something that you ignore, then are you actually doing the work of liberation? Because the work of liberation, if I recall, is that everyone needs to be liberated. Everyone. So if we start treating other people like they treat us, are we truly making a difference? Or are we just reinventing the wheel? So it's hard questions. Introspection, again, going back to that's what's going to solve this, is the introspection. It's having these conversations, is being honest. And if you don't agree with me, you need to tell me. I would love for you to tell me. And that's how we need to approach life with our friendships and with people that we meet. Allow them to push back, so that, you know what, you learn about their perspective, and then you adjust. And then, you never know what that may grow. The seed needs to be that we need to trust each other enough to be real with each other. If not, don't even talk to me, because it's just going to be fake.
Generous, loving conflict and conversation. We are all deserving of liberation. Yeah. This is great. I cannot wait for people to hear this. I'm so grateful. I'm so energized. I feel radicalized. I feel energy. I feel charged. I feel all these things. Any last words for the people? Any last things you want to say? Anything you want to ask? Anything before, as we wrap up?
I do. Free Palestine, free Sudan, free Congo, free Cuba, Borinquen, Puerto Rico, Hawaii. And never forget that that's the goal. That freeing ourselves is the goal. That's where we want to reach. Let all the noise fall away. Let all the scary things fall away, and continue to come together and find ways to build community, so that we can push forward and really truly build this world that we're all trying to envision. Because it's there. It's possible. It truly, really is.
Never forget. Thank you very much.
Love you. I appreciate it.
So grateful.
So much. It's always good medicine to be in community with you.
You're amazing. Thank you.